Very happy to announce exclusively here on Weekend Sunrise that Hollywood heartthrob Simon Baker will be honoured with the Trailblazer Award at Wednesday night's Actor Awards, which celebrate Australian cinema and television.
Now, the star of television mega hit series The Mentalist and a swag of Hollywood blockbusters like LA Confidential, Margin Call and The Devil Wears Prada is back home. He'll accept the award and also to promote his new film Breath. And I was lucky enough to catch up with Simon Baker for a chat. Congratulations on your Actor Trailblazing Award. It's just fantastic. But every time I think of Trailblazer, I think of someone on a horse setting fire to bushes as they go. Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's the Trailblazer has a connotation of that, doesn't it? It's like sort of steamy. It also makes, potentially I might have once seen myself in the role of a trailblazer somewhere in my 20s because I felt like I was setting fire to a few things, but I kind of laugh a little bit about this Trailblazer Award because it's to me, it's more of a longevity award for me. It's like I'm still going, and it's like I haven't hit the wall and I haven't been found out yet as a fraud. So I'm happy with that.
Simon Baker is no fraud. His Hollywood breakthrough came in the acclaimed LA Confidential alongside Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce.
Big V, what are you doing here? Hey, I'm keeping the streets safe, boys.
Then in The Devil Wears Prada opposite Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway, before landing leading roles in television hits The Guardian and then The Mentalist.
My desire for revenge doesn't outweigh the rules.
You really did pave the way for others in Hollywood. Do you feel like that, and did you feel like that at the time?
It was definitely a big part with my wife Rebecca Regan and our daughter when we first went to the States was really about trying to sort of create an adventure for ourselves, and I didn't ever really feel like I was taking massive risks at the time. There had been people before that had walked that path, that had gone over there and had successful careers, and some of them had come back and some of them had gone over and stayed over there, and their careers had flourished in different ways.
You've said that you don't take yourself as seriously now.
I'm glad you bring that up now because that was all very earnest.
Well, I wondered whether your Mick-off with Jimmy Fallon was a prime example of that.
Yeah, look, I've always liked to have fun. I mean, that's just the nature of who I am, and that's, there's an element of that that's just in me, and it's always going to be in me.
Mick Jagger, ever seen your Mick impersonation? It's so good.
I don't think it's as good as it used to be. A bit better. No, the knees and hips are not so loose anymore. But Mick used to be a bit better too. I was actually at a party once in Hollywood, and I was with Tom Cruise, and it was Mick Jagger's birthday party, and somehow my wife and I, Rebecca and I, were at this party, and Tom was introducing me to Mick, and he kept saying he'd seen me do the Mick Jagger thing before, and Tom, and he was like, Simon's a really great dancer. Mick, he's a really great... And I was like, please don't say anything. Please don't say anything.
And dancing is something Simon's never been backwards in. You don't do your own stunts, but you do your own dancing.
I have done my own stunts, but it's a mug's game. You get hurt.
Some people would say that the dancing bit is more scary than the stunts. I mean, this goes back to 1991.
You're not going to do it, eh?
Yeah.
Of course you're going to do it. You've done it.
But how can you not? Yeah. It's just brilliant.
Some may call it dancing, others may call it gyrating. It's the 90s, it's a little bit like, come on. We all did some silly things in the 90s.
Back to the present, and Simon is living and breathing his new film, Breath, based on the Tim Winton novel.
How does it feel when it's that serious?
Breath just looks breathtaking. It looks beautiful, and it's been such a big part of your life. Mm-hmm. Try and summarise it for us. What's it about?
Well, it's based on Tim's book, and Tim's book is fantastic, and it sings for so many of us. It was so well received, that book. So I'm dancing on his coattails straight off the bat, and I need to acknowledge that clearly.
I don't want you to think I don't notice these things. What? Well, I think you know what I'm talking about.
For me, I think the film's a lot about identity and the forging of identity.
Boys take a wrong turn.
I could tell she liked me. What? She's looking at me with that special look.
And the discovery of who you are. And the different hurdles and obstacles that come at you through that period of adolescence, of growing up, and those unseen lines that are in the sand that you step over, that you're completely unaware of at the time, but in hindsight you're able to look back and say, that was a moment in which that moment really informed who I was and who I am and who I've become.
And in the words of Tim Winton, I love it the first time that they sort of experienced this surfing, how strange it was to see men do something so beautiful, something pointless and elegant, as if nobody saw or cared.
The first time I ever saw surfing was on television in the western suburbs of Sydney, and I saw a clip on the news, and it was a story about some competition, and it was a guy surfing a wave, and I just remember seeing it and saying, what is that? I need to do that. And then when I moved to the beach and I was witness to it, yes, it was this thing that just seemed like magical.
Oh, I'll surf that one day. You dare me? I dare you to dare me.
It's one of the great things about coming home is that I can go down the street and just be. I like it. You can walk into the pub and have a beer. You can do those sort of normal things, and all of that stuff is very important for me.
Well, we're delighted that you're living here and you could share some of your stories. Congratulations again, and we look forward to Breath.
Thank you. Cheers.
Did you go to the pub and have a beer?
No, we didn't. But the fact that he can do this here,
Yes.
and we sort of take that for granted, but when I was researching him, I was looking on various YouTube things, and there's lots of fans that have filmed him.
Yeah.
When he is overseas, there are groups of people that hang outside his hotel
He's mobbed.
room. He is literally mobbed.
Wow.
So the fact that here he was, he just had a pair of jeans and a T-shirt on.
He does
and
seem like a very pleasant man.
He's delightful.
And sense of humility about him.
Yeah, he
Lovely.
definitely does.
Yeah,
He was delightful.
gorgeous.
So thank you, Simon Baker. And
Indeed.
Breath looks beautiful. It'll be out on May the 3rd.
Indeed.